Parshas Metzorah, Tafshin Pei Beis. We saw last week the dinim, why is a person turning to a Metzorah? You know, he had a big mouth, and what the mouth leads to all the chatoim. So we described this last week. We went in pretty much in depth. Today we're gonna go in depth. How can such a person become tahor again? How is it possible for someone that reneged the omnipresence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to come back? And really, did he deserve to come back? Why the Kohen, how the tshuva works. And you're gonna see the wealth of information we're gonna be able to take with us into our own lives. So let's start with the psukim that we're gonna deal with tonight. You're gonna see for yourself that these psukim are very intriguing. This is the beginning of the Parasha. We finished Azriya, we finished talking about the Metzorah, and now we talk about the redemption. Zois tihye teiras ha-Metzorah. This will be. This is. Zois teiras ha-Metzorah. Tihye has no place here. It's an extra word. We saw Zois achaya, Zois teiras Zois chukas ha-Torah, you know, and so forth. Something is strange here. Beyom taharasoi, on the day of his purification. I'm sorry, it takes over a week, his purification. It's a process. So what it means, the day of his purification, he cannot become pure in one day. It's impossible. It's 2 weeks actually. So why is Beyom Taharasoi coming to point out? Vehuva el ha-kohen, and he has to be brought to the kohen. And if he cannot, we saw that in Parshas Tazriya where it says the same language. You know, when people see a guy that's becoming Metzorah, so they used to take him by force and bring him to the kohen. Here we're talking about someone who's michutz lamachane, is by himself, outside the 3 encampments, has to be brought to the kohen. How? I don't know what he means. However, the only thing I know is the next words here are completely going to contradict these words. Veyatsa ha-kohen el michutz lamachane. It's the kohen that goes to the Metzorah, not the Metzorah to the kohen. Metzorah cannot go back into the encampments. So what are these words? Purpose, and what is their real meaning? You can see in between this mamish, within a few words, there's a stira, tremendous contradiction. One side says it's the Metzorah that goes to the kohen. The other side says no, it's the kohen that goes to the Metzorah el michutz lamachane, to wherever he is, but it is outside the machne. V'ra'a ha-kohen, the kohen will see. Vehine, and behold. There's no point to it. He could have said V'ra'a kohen v'nir pahanaga. And instead of this, he goes V'ra'a kohen. Vehine, nirpa, he got cured. Nega tzara, the affliction of tzaras, min hatzarua, from the Metzorah. Why, do you know it's tzaras that's not on a Metzorah? Why, fly in the air? Why did you add me min hatzarua? You see, I mean, it makes no sense if you try to translate the words. I'm not going to answer all these questions because we'll be here till tomorrow morning. However, I'm going to go for the main stuff. Vetziva ha-kohen, the kohen will order. Velokach lamitaher. Oh, we don't call him Metzorah already. What has he done? He has done nothing. We call him lamitaher, the person who's in the process of purification. Okay. Now we're going to see some voodoo here. We're taking what? 2 birds. They have to be alive because what? We used to bring korbanos to the Mizbeach, us that dead. Trephis, Neveres, Chaz v'Shalom, Tuma. What do you mean 2 live birds? Have you ever seen a korban that's coming dead? None. Tehoiros. Oh my goodness. Have we ever brought any type of korban, any type of thing that is stomach, an animal that's stomach? Is there even a havamina that we can bring something tummy? So why these 2 words here? Shtei tziporim. The Gemara wants to say chayes means not treifes. The big machlekes in the Rishonim, you know, the pshat. It's not so simple. Then we're gonna take etz erez, so it's the cedar tree, and it has to be 1 amma. In the Minchas Chinuch, Mitzvah Kufayim Gimel, it brings, you know, the details of the mitzvah. I'm not gonna have to bring, because if I had to go into the mitzvah itself, you would see how many questions we would have, and how amazing is this process, like striking in terms of what are we doing? A person that was stomach, we have a process in order to purify him. We dip him in a mikveh. It's not enough once, do it twice. You want to shave his head, his hair, shave his hair. But what is this? And look at this now. We're going to take 2 birds, cedar, so a stick of 1 amma of cedar tree. Shni toilas has to be the value of 1 shekel. I don't know how much it is. It's red dyed wool. And then ezoiv, it's 1 tefach of this bush. I forgot how we call it, hyssop. Now you have to take the hyssop, you have to take the cedar, put them together, tie, you know, put on the toilah shani, take a bird, shecht it. So you're shechting the first bird. You take the blood and you put it in a brand new cheres. I forgot, every time I forget this word in English. Cheres and
earthenware.
Earthenware?
Yes.
No wonder I forget that word. So you take
like pottery.
a vessel of cheres. Huh?
It's pottery also. It's something.
Yeah, some pot. That's right. A vessel, pottery vessel, had to be brand new. You had to fill it up with mayim chaim, only 1 revis. It's not much. But what it means live water, not dead water. It means from a flowing water. Now, you take the bird on top, you shecht it, you keep the blood inside. You mix up the blood and the water. So now we have the ezoiv, etz erez, and the telas tied up. You take the bird, the tip of the wings and the tail have to be on the erez, the etz erez, the telas shani, and the ezoiv. Not the whole bird. You can't catch the bird and the whole thing together. It has to be the tip of the wings and the tail. You take them, you dip them into that blood. Once you dip them into the blood, you take the bird, it had to go outside, not facing any house, not facing the cities, back to this and send it out. Tell me it's not voodoo. Tell me there's any Indian here of Tyra. I would love to hear what Indian of Tyra we understand. Mikveh is the name of Hashem, Aleph K. So K with a full opening with Aleph Hey Hey. Yud, hey, hey. So written like this, it's equaling to mikveh. This I understand, but now you coming a bird. Targum Yonasan, the Talmud of Hillel HaZaken, says, if that person was not really cured and he would fall again and get saras, meaning he would misuse his mouth again and he would get saras again, that bird that was sent away would come back to him that very same day to his house, and he could eat it. The bird would not run away. Since we know that these were not domesticated birds, they were not birds from these coops, whatever, it had to be a bird trapped. Sipar deror, a bird, a free bird from go to the forest and trap the birds. These are the birds you needed. You know any bird that's going to go through such a harsh treatment from human and it's going to reapproach a human after that the same day, the very same day, as the bird knows that this guy is going to have saras again. There's some magic here. And you know how much the Torah despises magic and all kishuf. All is in the name of Hashem and in the letters of the Torah. So where is it that I should understand it a different way? All right, let's start now this year. So we're gonna see the amazing Torah we have, how much it's encompassed into the words, simple words that we misread and basically we misinterpret, and we come to egregious explanations and force them into our wishful list in our heart. Once you learn a little bit and you look at these letters and these letters shine, and you realize right away, where is the message? And where do you have to focus? Because the Torah tells you, hey, hold it, don't translate, I have a message right here. Zohar HaKadosh says that once and for all, I would like to teach you something here. I'm going to share again the screen because, I don't like changing the names because people don't understand. You all know that these are the spheres, right? Let's call the spheres. They're not the attribute of mercy. They are what these from Chesed down are the ones that control all the lower worlds. The upper three are beyond our reach, but these one, so Pesach we in the Bina, Purim we in the Chachma, Moshe Rabbeinu reached this level, Mordechai is attached to this level also, and besides that, we usually say Avraham, Chesed, Yitzchak, Gvura, Yaakov, Tiferes, completion here. The Netzach, it's Nevuah for the top Nevi'im. Hod is Nevuah for regular Nevi'im. They see things in a dream, so it always comes from Hod. Hod is like Ba'omer, it was Hod Shebahod, when Reb Shimon Bar Yochai was Niftar, and so forth. So these are the spheres. When we say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Ein Sof is above that. I mean, there are a few, it's Arich, Atik Yoimin, but let's say the Ein Sof is on top. When we say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who do we refer to? We invented a new name, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When the Zohar says Kudsha Baruch Hu is from Chesed to Malchus, these 7 spheres are the power that we refer to as HaKadosh Baruch, is the light of Hashem that went through so many filters that we can perceive as HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's so much of HaKadosh Baruch Hu we know. Only what transpires through Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. That little bit of light. So all these lights together don't even come close to the light of the Bina. So when I say Kuchavarichu, you have to remember these are the 7 spheres that the light that comes out through the 7 spheres, that basically what we know of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Once you get to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu in these worlds, what you see is beyond what the human can take. So let's go back here now that we've said that. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is angry at the Jews because they do avonos, we say in the nose there are 3 flames burning. And when we refer with 3 flames, it's always the 3 wives of the Satan. He has 3 wives. And why? Because they're the nastiest one. They come and trap humans by attracting them to Isurim, and as soon as it's done, they have no mercy. Woman is Gvura. Woman has no mercy. Mercy is a man. So once they have trapped the person and make him trample over a sin, right away they go up and they make a trick on the person. He deserves punishment. He deserves punishment. He has to come to us because their life is the punishment. So these are the 3 wives. And what happened at this time, if the sin, usually a sin would affect the whatever limb of the body accomplished, has done the sin. But when someone uses his mouth, right away his whole entire body being is affected, because the coil transfers the wheel of everything in the body. We said last week, the Yud, it's affecting the Yud. He remains a shed and he goes to the Shadim. So the Zohar here this week explained the process and says the Shechina is moving away from him. So his Neshama, now he becomes a total entity of Tumah. In other words, his 10 attributes of Kedusha that we have seen that's in every human being have left him and were replaced with the body where the 10 spheres are of Tumah. The Metzorah is a different person than the Jew that was there beforehand, before his punishment. Even though he was saying Lashon Hara, but still, he was not what we call muchla, decided. He was not yet totally, once he started, speaking and getting punished, is a totally different human being. And the Kohen will be metaher, will be a different human being again. So we got to be dealing with three human beings, and the Kohen will rebuild him from the feet up, not like he did. So when he was metame, it was from the head down, and now we're going to have to destroy whatever the tumor was and rebuild him totally with new spheres. So just going to go here, show you that part. Share screen. So when we're going to rebuild him, so when he's going to do tshuva, So this part he's going to do by himself in order to get cured. He has to compensate the loss he created to the Malchus, to the Shechina, and to the Yesod. This is part of the tshuva. Once the affliction disappears from his skin, we know that he has made tshuva, he had this too. The Kohen starts here. He's going to do this base for him. He's going to take, so the chesed is the Kohen. The Shnit Toilas is here because it's red, Gvura. The etz, sorry, he's doing only the Malchus. When he does tshuva, he only does the Malchus. I made a mistake. And so the Kohen does Hoid Netzach. When he's going to take the Ezoiv in his hand, he's going to do the Yesod. So he's going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That the Kohen. And this one, it's the person himself when he makes tshuva has to basically accomplish. Once that's said, you know, so he's taking the two birds are these two are going to be the foundation of that human being. Once we kill the first bird, we show him that the bilk of tumah that he had to be killed. The person that has spoken needs to be killed. And it says in the Targum Yonasan, you have to bury it before his eyes. He has to look, because really he's a mace. We proved it with the Gematrias last week. I cannot go back too long to the share of last week. Otherwise, we'll never have time to move. Now, and the second one, we're sending. So the Rekanati here says something tremendous. What's on it? Why do we send it? The Ramban also says it. You know, in Yom Kippur, we have two Seirim also. Seir Lashem and Seir Lazazel. One for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one for the Satan. The one of the Satan, we send it to the Midbar, and we push it backward off a cliff, and he dies right away. So that's the trade with the Satan, so he's not Mekatreg on Yom Kippur. Says this is the same idea here. We give the Satan one bird, the bird that we killed because we spilled the blood in the thing, so he can come, you know, and feed whatever they have from the blood of the first thing. But him, for going forward, he needs a trade. Remember, we called him Tamei. This level of impurity affects the outside of a person, the chitzonius, and the inside. Because inside he has the Satan, and on the outside he has the Nachash that would not let him get free. So the Nachash, we trap him with the blood of the shechted thing, because he wants the blood for them. This is where there's light. This is where they find the chiyas. And with the other one is the one inside. We tell him, look, we gave you something, get out of here. Now, if we go back, I would like to show you. So the Kamana explains, is always hinting stuff, always hiding it, but it's not that difficult. That what in Pshat, why is he twice Tamei? Once because he did the sin. The second thing is because once you have a Gaiva, you're touching HaKadosh Baruch Hu right here. It's called Tiferes. Tiferes in English, you know, Hisparus, glorifying. So you wanted to glorify yourself. So you use the midah of Tiferes, which is the glorification of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So these are the second. So once the Kohen comes and is Metayr, he does the process of being Metayr, the Metzorah, he says, the side is in this pasuk. Vayas la'im batim, he says, I'm not saying more, understand. All right. That's very typical for the Kamana. So obviously, there's only one thing we can do at the beginning. Take the gematria of Vayas la'im batim. Equals 913 exactly, equals Bereshis. Is basically telling me that you have to rebuild him all the way. So we had 10 ma'amaris in Parashas Bereshis. Bereshis and non-Vayomer. These are the 10 ma'amaris. There's one day I'll have to give a share on this. You know, the series of 10s. You have 10, Maimar is the Vayomer. So the diction, the whatever. Then you have 10 plagues in Mitzrayim. Then, I mean, I'm chronologically in the Torah. Then we have the 10 commandments. The Maharal is tying them all together. So, and one thing I took the Maharal and I gave my shot behind it, just to explain what had from a Maimar through a Makkah, we arriving to Har Sinai, to the Dibur, to the commandments of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But just to remain here, so Gaiva is pushing everything. Like the Malbim last week says, he thinks he has a heart, like a god. Everyone that has too much success and doesn't have the little bit of failure in his life, automatically he feels godly. Nebuchadnezzar, Titus, whenever a person feel like this, look, we know about Nebuchadnezzar, we know about Titus, we know about Biden. We know these are big Baalei Gaiva that are gonna end up face in the dirt, face in the ashes. No question about it. So when you make him a bias, you have to rebuild from the first Maimar, like in the Torah. So he erased Bereshis. That's what it tells me. So if you erase Bereshis, I'm starting to understand. Now we're gonna start going uphill from here. I'm starting to understand exactly where you're at as a Metzorah. Amalek has his klipa is called the zvuv, like the avodah zara, the bee, the fly. If you take Zayin, you open it up, Zayin, base, Vav, base, equals 913. Always the same strength. So Bereshis is the first Maimar, Zvuv is the first klipa, the klipa of Amalek. Reshis Goyim Amalek, Reshis, Bereshis, Zvuv. This is where the Metzorah is. Usually, someone who's trapped here, there's no way back. There's no way back. So, how is he coming back? How do we bring him back? So the Kohen, if you take the word, I think I wrote it somewhere. Ela Kohen, Vehuva Ela Kohen, every time. Ela Kohen equals 111. What is the Kohen? What his power? Because he's attached. This is called Aleph in full. Aleph Lamed Pei. I didn't write it in your Aleph Lamed Pei. So this is what the Kohen is capable of going inside the dirt, picking him up. Remember, because of his Kedusha last week, we learned that it was the Chesed Avram. Chesed Avram, it was the Rekanati. It was the Rekanati that was saying that when the shed is looking at the Kohen, he gets scared. He cannot ask. But a normal person, even if he's a chacham and he wants to look at the tsaras and give a pshat, give a psak, he can get affected. He can get afflicted. Why? Because the shed is not scared of him and he will jump at him. So that's why only the Kohen could do it. Now we're going to build him back from Bereshis and go all the way up. So it's from here all the way to the Keser, which you have 10 spheres on top. The surprising part about Bereshis, I think I remember it not by heart. It's I didn't bring it here. Is keneged anoichi Hashem Elokecha in the Diburim. So once a person destroyed the Maimar of Bereshis, is destroying anoichi Hashem Elokecha. That's why we have to watch the mouth. So important. Now he told us Vayas Laim Batim. I understand in general what he's trying to hint. Though in this pasuk there's a word that stands out. Why houses? This pasuk was said by Hashem about Yocheved and Miriam because they saved the firstborn. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu did them batim. There's a meaning pshatim on this batim over there also. But this is a word that stands out. So in our context, batim equals 452. You'll see in a second why these 452 are so important. The Kamana HaKadosh is telling us that if you want to know where is the chet of the Metzorah in the names of Hashem, so we have it goes all the way up to Atzilus, and he doesn't take just any letters, he takes all the Yudim out. So if you take the Yudim out, so Yud, all the red one, take them out, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters left. Instead of the 10 letters in the name of Hashem, in Atzilus, this is what we call the name of 72, because its value is 72. Ab, we call him Ab, Sag, Ma, Ben. By the value, we give them a name. So once this name loses its Yudim, where the world with the Etz HaChaim, Etz HaDas that control our world, we're losing the Aleph also. So he's coming from here and does a tremendous damage, the Metzorah. Says the Ari HaKadosh, that's why he's called Metzorah specifically, which equals to 406. Because this Yud has 10 spheres also. Each Yud has 10 spheres. So here we have 100, 200, 300, 400. And 6 letters, 406. Mida keneged Mida, that's why he becomes a Metzorah. Now I told you to remember this number. You're going to see how it's going to tie up. Equals 452. Exactly Adam ki yakriv mikaim. Once you sacrifice, I mean, you make an offering, it has to be an offering from you. What do you mean from you? From your people? We spoke about this. It's going to be a human sacrifice? No. Mikem equals tame, but equals 100, the sum. You want to come back and to heal, bring back your Yetzer Hara as a sacrifice. Then we start talking, then you start healing. Otherwise, if by 2 weeks the Metzorah has not understood the message and has not performed a proper tshuva, he was dying. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu really is chayiv misa the person, and he will die Only what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving him a two weeks grace period in which he has to make tshuva. Otherwise, quick, he's gone, like a menuda. So I start understanding now that when this person comes out, the nega disappears, it means he has done tshuva to the point that he's able to say, I do not want nothing to do with the Yetzer Hara. Nothing at all. And so the Malchus comes and protects him. So the Moshe David Valley, basically his source is a Zohar. I found a Zohar on this. Says that as soon as he starts his process of tshuva, even though he is not complete, the Shechina, even though he will get harmed, comes to protect him because he has no protection from the outside. The Tshuvas try to be pushing out all these shadim, he can't, so the Shechina comes and gives him a hand. And right away, that's why he says B'yom Tahara. So we're gonna see what it means, B'yom Tahara. So by the Pashat Pshat, meaning the Kohen has to rush because this person is in danger to fall back, and the Shechina is getting harmed. Therefore, the Kohen has to run out. Now we understand Vehuva el HaKohen. He will be brought to the Kohen. Who? This. The job of the Metzorah was to bring his Yetzer Hara to the Kohen. The Kohen had to go out of the Machane to cure the Metzorah. When we said Vehuva el HaKohen at the beginning, we never meant that the Metzorah will come and be brought. No. What has to be brought to the Kohen in order to receive his face and have him recheck the affliction was the person had to be ready to sacrifice his Yetzer Hara. Then the affliction. Nothing less than this. Once he has this, we were taking, so the Kohen, the first thing was doing, so he was shechting one of the birds and go through the process we said. And after that, only will we start the purification process, to be called a mitaher, someone that's in the purification process. The Kohen, we said, that this person, remember, took away these 4 lights. These lights too, the Aleph. So the one we really can affect us with our thing is Olam HaYetzirah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps the person, and when he sees that he's doing the job here, he does it for him over there. So the Kohen is gonna work toward repairing, so rebuilding the person, and at the same time repairing everything he has destroyed in the name of Hashem, because this name of Hashem is the name of Hashem that he's gonna internalize, and that's gonna keep him life. So we said, is it voodoo to take Etz HaEretz? Last week we said, why Rashi said, Erez is a tallest tree, don't try to be, so it's teaching him not to be haughty, shni toilas, because it's toilas, it's a worm. You have to be like the worm and the low bush. Anava shiflus, because Anava equals also Samael, the name of the Nachash, of the Satan, and the person has to know that. So what do we do now? Let's get behind, because it's very nice, but we don't cure with examples. We cure with medicine. So if these are only examples, How do they bring Tyra? I understand you go into mikveh, you become tar. I don't understand that you're taking red wool and blue wool and whatever you want to do and mix and tell me we get Tyra with that. How do the Tyra comes onto the Metzorah, and how does it remove all the shading that he has on him? So if you take Etz Ha'eres Shnitelas Ezov, like it's written in the Pasuk, equals 1,604. Equals four times HaMetzorah. He took off 4 Yudin. For each Yud, he has a Gzadin of Metzorah. Nobody can affect the Yud. You affected the Yud. You become. So 4 times he needs to fight. And these are, and we're going to see also a little bit later, how does he work? The Eitz Ha'eres Shni Teilas Ezov, remember, these are letters. Letters have power. The wood, I don't care what it has. It has no power. A piece of wood has no power. A little bush, no power. The letters of the names have tremendous power. I have Aleph. I have Aleph. You know, every letter that we have here has a Shem Hashem. So this combination of Shemus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's going to cure and provide the redemption to the Metzorah. But here right away we see that it's amazing that he's getting paid for that. The pasuk says, "Hishamer me'od mipnei nega hatzaras." You have to be extremely careful by the affliction of tzaras. Why? It's tzaras. What it means negat tzaras, the affliction of tzaras. We all know if someone has a tremendous machla, it's an affliction. You don't have to say he got afflicted by the affliction of cancer. You don't talk like this. So why negat tzaras? Interesting number. 888. 8 times Aleph. 8 times the letter Aleph. So remember that because he affected these Yudin, the 3 Aleph disappeared. So once he gets it, this is his punishment for first the 3 Aleph. The 5 Aleph is these. There are 5 chasadim coming down from Keser to Chochmah, Chochmah again to Bina. Bina splits them around, and each one gives it to the Yesod, and the Yesod to the Malchus, and the Malchus to us. Once a person affects the letters of these that enable that process, automatically the Aleph of the chasadim that you see here, the Aleph of the chasadim is broken. And the 5 chasadim, which are represented by Aleph, are basically not shining over the Metzorah. Now, every Aleph is a light, is a oyer. 8 times light equals 1,556. Et erez shnitelas ve'ezoi. It's 4 times Oyer and Sof, repairing the Yudin. Oyer and Sof is the Yud. Right there, I have my 4 Yudin back repaired again by these components. Why? Because of the light. It's the Oyer of these components which lies in the name in Lashon HaKodesh. That's the one that has the power. We repair. So now we have the 5 chasadim without the Aleph. So 8 equals 5 plus 3. 3 for the name of Hashem. 5 for the chasadim. We have the 8 oiris back in place. Automatically we have 4 oir and soif. Oir and soif equals 414. So 4 times 414 equals 1,656. Now he repairs that. Now that is, so he approaches the Metzorah and tells him to change his clothing. So you realize now we don't call him Metzorah anymore. Second time, it's Hamid Taher. And he has to shave. That's the second very important component that brought in the Sefer HaChinuch, in the explanation of the mitzvah, that he has to shave. What is he shaving? Kol se'aroi, all his hair. He's going to shave on the day we shechted the tzipah, so on the day of his Tyra, and he's going to shave a week later again, after he finishes process, of Tyra and bringing the korbanos. What's in here? Are we trying to punish him again? The person is making tshuva. He brought his Yetzer Hara to the Kohen. Is a complete, to the level, complete tzaddik now. Okay. We have to he has to repair the damages he created, but in the meantime, like Moshe David Vale says, his main vote this week is, once you remove the shadim, they have their share somewhere else. It's like going to Beis Din, being a defendant without having an accuser. So Beis Din has no business. They say, we don't know what to do. We don't know what you're accused for. We don't know. Get out, go home. And you see how amazing it comes out in this passage. Se'aroi equals 576. The Ari HaKadosh says, Shin Ayin, and this is in the Kavanos of lighting the nares of Hanukkah, She'asa nisim la'avoisenu. She'asa, when we say Shin Ayin of She'asa, Chazal did on purpose. They hide us in words and letters what's exactly happening when we do an action. So here, Shin Ayin is all the light, this 370 lights, Nehoirin Kadishin, that comes from the Keser. These lights would stop for a fraction of a millisecond, world would stop. The Resh Vav is 206 with the Kedel 207, like Oyer. Shin Ayin Oyer. It's Sarah. You want to tell me that the lights, so inside a person is going through his hair? Yep. These are the conduits of light into a person, his hair. Now that he became a part of the tumor, automatically the tumor also attached to his hair. Therefore, we have to remove all his hair up to the skin. It has to be with a blade, with a sar. It's in mitzvah, the Sefer HaChinuch mitzvah Purifying Gimel, Rambam, everyone, Sefer mitzvahs, everyone bring, it has to be with a blade. I'm asking you a question. Can a Jew use a blade? Someone wants to shave, can he use a blade? He cannot use a blade. Why can he use a blade? Because it affects the Tzelem Elokim. This person, the Metzorah, remember from last week, has no Tzelem Elokim. So the Sar, like a Goy, we don't tell him don't use a blade. You can use a blade. You have no Tzelem Elokim. We'll see what the Sar does, the blade. However, since he has no, so we can use a blade to get as close to the skin as possible, so the shadim don't get attached to his body, because they can only attach through the hair. Now, if you remember, those who were here, 576, there's a Mishnah in Malchus, Chav Gimel Amud Aleph, that if someone was Chayev Misa and Beis Din made a mistake and gave him Malchus, he is parted from the Misa. You cannot go after that and say, oh, we made a mistake, we need to kill him because he was on the death row. You cannot do that. The Ari HaKodesh, I forgot which Parasha on top of my head, Sefer Likutim Parashas Kiseitze, explains that there only are Malchus Dinim in the world. In other words, Malchus equals 576. Oh, and since he has paid the price to the 576 dinim, therefore, again, there's no accuser and you cannot basically put him to death. What did we say Se'ara was the value of Se'ara? 576. All the dinim we remove? Yes, all the dinim we remove. With a blade? Yes, with a blade. Why? Because blade, tsar, equals 670. Saf, I'm going to go back just to show you this. Tsar equals 670. You remember what Esther told Achashverosh? Lehashmid, laharoig, ule'abed. Whenever you use the blade, it's a killer, a destroyer, a murderer, a blood spiller. You understand now why we cannot use it on Tselem Elohim? Because whenever you put blade, whatever is under it is being destroyed. So here, since the purpose is to destroy the Shadim and all those bad forces that attach to and all the 576 dinim attached to this person, it's fine. We must use actually, that's why if he didn't do it with the blade, he has to go back and redo it with the blade. Because the blades are destroyers, whatever you put under it will be destroyed, and this destruction has to be on however, after he brings his korbanos, there's another very strange process. I forgot I wanted to tell you something else here, but just had it planned. But oh yeah, when we say Sur Merah Va'aseh Tov, Sur Merah equals 576. In other words, when a person decides, just by deciding not to go back and sin and redo the same sin, right away he annuls the 576 dinim. A person feels he has the dinim, he has to know right away, I am Sur Merah, the dinim have no grip on me anymore. The second strange process we have, and I'm going to finish the shir on here, but there's tremendous depth. So the Kohen was taking the blood of the Asham, of the korban that he was bringing the second week. So after the first process, he was coming into the encampments, into the machnes, but he was not allowed to go home. He had to stay one more week away from his wife. Then he would bring the korbanos. Then he would be shaved again because he was tamei, and the Kohen, Moshe David Valley says the Kohen has no power. It's impossible with such a level of tumah to fix the outside and the inside. So on the first process was the outside, the second process, now he is the inside. And as we saw that he was voodoo the first process, the second one is definitely not less voodoo. So why? I mean, looking like the Kohen was taking the blood And he would take the middle finger here, and put blood right here. He would put blood in the middle of the lobe of the ear, right there. And on the middle finger of the right foot, also the same place. Then he would take oil and put on the very places it had to be, according to halacha, it has to be right on top of the blood. It's truly amazing, this process. I'm just going to tell you something. Rabbi Avraham Azulai, the great-grandfather of the Chida Kodesh, in his Sefer Chesed Avram, explains that the bad spirits attached to a person in three places. The three wives of the Sam, which is the Chamor, the Shur, and the Kelev, attach themselves to the lobe of the ear, the middle finger here, and the middle finger of the foot. And can I get there to be mevatel the grip? We had to bring those two together. Now, if you take Tenuch Oizen Amitaher, Haimonis, so the right ear on the lobe, the Boyhen Yodo Haimonis, and Boyhen Ragloi Haimonis, together equals 2,452. 2452, which equals exactly 4 times Taryag mitzvahs. These, we see how Torah is so precise. HaChazal tell us things that are so precise. Again, it's not the place, it's not the this, it's not the that. It's the letters. The koyach, those, so once you put through an action or through something which is materialistic, and you put power through words or letters of Torah, or say your bracha properly, these letters provide you tremendous powers and schar, reward. We see what can be from someone that fell down to the abysmal place of the 3 wives of the Sam, of the Satan. Let's look backward. If someone shuts his mouth, how much more is he getting? He's called the Kodesh for shutting up his mouth. Learning from the punishment, we can know the reward of someone that holds his mouth. And if I found it in a gematria, actually stated in the pasuk somewhere. Can't remember all of them by heart. Oh yeah. Why 2 birds? Shetei tziporim. Because Shetei tziporim equals 1,130. Like Arel Sephosai. Person, they come to teach us. Obviously, it's the power of these letters, Shetei tziporim, but we understand the image here. We understand the example that it is the kedusha lies upon someone shutting down his mouth, despite what there could be million reasons to open it, to fight back, to say this, to say a dirty, something, someone that kocht you, you want to koch him back, someone sent you a line, you want to go back at it. You don't do that. You keep your mouth only for good purposes. This is the biggest source of bracha. It's Shabbos HaGadol. since we're talking about the power of letters, it says that on all the light of Oraganus, what I mean Oraganus, the light that was stored in Grange somewhere, because of the Chet of Adam Harishon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put it in the letters of the Torah in the form of Yud Ke Vav Ke. Each letter of the Torah has a Yud Ke Vav Ke. Shabbos being the holiest day of the week, so you would expect it to be something very holy, right? How many letters we have in the alphabet? 22 regulars and 5 doubles, 27. Have you ever thought about doing 27 times 26? Because each letter has the Yud Ke Vav Ke of value 26. 27 times 26 equals Shabbos. So how can I have a greater Shabbos than Shabbos? I used everything already. No, you haven't used everything, because each month is a different combination of the Yud Ke Vav Ke. We have 12 months, 4 letters each month. 12 times 4, 48. 48 plus 702, 750. Shabbos HaGadol. Shabbos HaGadol includes, meaning every aspect and every dimension of the creation with its light. In other words, all the boundaries have been taken away for this Shabbos. Which He'ara can I get on this Shabbos? 27 times Yud Ke Vav Ke plus 12 times Yud Ke Vav Ke. That's what we can get on this Shabbos. B'ez Hashem, we should all be zoche to a Shabbos HaGadol done properly and see the Yeshua the week later, you know, B'Nisan Igalu, B'Nisan Igaelu. Have a great Shabbos, everyone.